Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, people who watch this back on playback, welcome to Spike Kool-Aid for December 13th, 2022. Listen, so I got to tell y'all a story, man. Yesterday, the dude came out from our washing machine. He said it was the agitator dogs because the agitator was not moving. So I said, okay. Everything's good to go. I went to go wash some clothes. It still wasn't moving. So I'm like, bruh. So I call him, tell my wife, or ask my wife to call him back. They call him back. They said they'll be out here today. So instead of going to get my car fixed today, I waited for my man. Now, he was late yesterday, but he was early today. So that's cool because he allowed me to get on. His window was between 1:30 and 3:30. So I'm like, dang, I'm not going to be able to get on. My wife is at work, and I have to answer the door. I might not hear him, so I might have to postpone the show. So he comes today. He fills the drum up with water, and that agitator going strong. I'm like, bro, I'm not crazy. We got to put some clothes in there. So I just grab a pile of clean clothes that I had was already sitting down there and put them in. And wouldn't you know it, don't you know, the agitator did not move. So he informed me that we have a weak transmission. And he was like, y'all going to need a new washing machine or it's going to be $600. So I was like, let me holler at the landlord. So because he came early, I'm able to get on today. Don't forget, Touchdown Detroit Lions will be on at 5 p.m. later today. And yeah, man, I have reached out to Detroit Lions forum for him to join the team. So we had a nice conversation after we got off the air yesterday, and him and I chopped it up. And he's looking forward to joining the team. So that's exciting. I'm excited, and we taking over. All right. Now I gotta say this. What's up, Mr. Poole, Vision, Patty, Kid Rapper, Nation, and Lions Mania? When he come in here, I gotta clear some stuff up. Now, I gotta say this. We live in a world where you'll get canceled for anything, right? Everybody's Pillsbury dough. When I was young, we used to say whatever we want. It wasn't right, but we used to say it. We didn't know that the cancel culture would show up in 40 years, 35, 40 years. And if you talk about somebody, you're trying to have drama, right? You're trying to create drama, but that's not what I'm trying to do. But I really understood yesterday that I belong in this space. I feel like I was meant to be in this space. I feel like I'm good at what I do. Matter of fact, I'm great at what I do. And I saw something yesterday that assured me that Derek is supposed to be in this space. All right? Now, we're not going to say no names. But y'all know that one creator that I can't stand. But there's some other people on this platform that I don't subscribe to. Right? Kind of came out of nowhere. Took over our space. And I really don't appreciate it, and has never once asked me to do anything Detroit related. Let me make that very clear, right? So the disrespect is real. However, I saw a guy yesterday that popped up in my timeline, and I don't watch these cats, okay? Pops up in my timeline, and this dude is saying the most vulgar things that I think I've heard in a long time about the Detroit Lions and how they won, and you can do all these things to this individual, and he's willing to do this and do that. And I said, oh, my goodness. And it was crazy. I'm like, what is this man on? What literally is he on? But I find it fascinating. The amount of wishy-washy that's in this space. From real life to people on the platform. Remember that. Just remember this, y'all. Things are not always what they appear. But I can't believe that this individual, well, yes, I can, because there's another individual that I don't know how he even exists. But anyway, I said, Derek, you know what, man? You belong in this space, bro. You always have. Don't let anybody push you out. Not again. I let that happen once. I'm not going to let it happen again. I thought was only the 5 show. Yes. Okay. So Derwin, I told a whole story about that today. A whole story. And also Also, I heard from last week that y'all might be ready for 2 shows. So we're going to give it to you today. I'm stuck at home until 5. Got to make my video for my other channel. But I got to say this, right? My goal is to hit 1,000 over here by Christmas Day. All right? We got, hopefully, Detroit Lions Forum is joining the team, and we are coming like Deion Sanders. We coming, all right? Detroit Lions Syndicate is 7 subscribers away from 7,000. Man, feels so good. All right. Nobody is putting respect on Detroit name, and that's about to change. Let's get into it, man. During Detroit Lions Syndicate, bro. That's actually the video that the channel I make videos on. So this is more of a live interaction channel. But we'll get there, man. We're going to get there today. But we got to talk about some stuff, man. Detroit Lions explode in the power rankings. They weren't the highest team to move up, but they moved up. Todd McShay is tripping about the draft. And we went from underdogs to favorites overnight. How about that? Dan Campbell was on the Pat McAfee show, which I don't watch, by the way, but I had to watch this. Kudos to those guys for sticking by their guns with the same old Lions. But now they said the brand new Lions, and Dan Campbell said that he didn't know it was a fake punt. And the fan base is freaking out. Y'all are so gullible. Just hoo-hoo, Pillsbury Doughboys. Y'all just so, whatever somebody say, y'all believe. Thank you, Mr. Poole. Why do you have an issue with that you don't name? Michael, are we talking about him or are we talking about them? I have an issue with him. I think you know why. Michael, what you see is why, my brother. Now I could go on about that, but I don't want to make that show about this. Dan's playing on he's a dunce narrative. Oh, yeah. Oh, Michael, okay, never mind then, bro. I thought you knew. But listen, the Detroit Lions fan base is freaking out because Dan Campbell said on the Pat McAfee show that he was busy watching the wave and he didn't realize that they were calling a fake punt, the pass to Penei Sewell. And just here's the thing about it, though. Here's the thing about it. No, Mike, it's all good. It's all good, my brother. Here's the thing about it. Just earlier in the interview, he literally said that they work on that play. How soft Penei's hands were, that they practiced that play. It's in the repertoire because Penei Sewell is such an athlete. And then he goes back to say he didn't realize it was happening. Y'all got to relax, bro. Y'all have to chill out. Of course he knew what was happening. So basically, dumb luck is what you're saying. What's up, Joseph? Says that J-Mo block was sweet. Yeah, shout out to Brian Baldinger. Y'all got to see this man's hands, man. They all twisted up. Worse than Deion Sanders. But he gave a phenomenal breakdown of a couple plays. You can check it out on the NFL YouTube channel. Now, today is the last day of Week 14. And we're going to talk about Kyler Murray and the NFL fields. We're going to make that the last segment. But today is the official last day of Week 14. Week 15 begins tomorrow. And one more time, because I got to let this go after this. But wasn't it sweet, y'all? There's a song by a group called Paramore, and it goes, ain't it fun living in the real world? Ain't it good being all alone? And you know why I brought that song up? Because ain't it fun listening to the Stewies of the Minnesota Vikings fan bases and creators? Oh, my goodness. I watched the Locked On. I made my round started Sunday night, and yesterday I went to everybody. I went to everybody's channel that I just typed in Minnesota Vikings, and I started at the top, and I went all the way down as far until my hands got tired. And I saw the Locked On dudes, and they was trying their best. I could only imagine what they did when they hit end stream. But they was trying their best to diss us, and they was trying to not pop a gasket at the same time. See, I noticed that a lot of Minnesota Vikings fans, creators, was sneak dissing the Detroit Lions. That's right. Justin Jefferson set a Vikings record in passing, 223 yards. But they lost. Kirk Cousins, passer rating over 110, but they lost. And guess who they lost to, y'all? The Lions. And it was great. In particular, Luke and my man, okay, from Minnesota Sports, Locked On Minnesota Sports, and the same guy, because what I noticed about the Minnesota, they was like, I have a problem with the crossovers on Locked On Lions, because the host, they say all the right things. Oh my God, yeah, the Lions are, man, they're playing some really good football there. Really good football, okay, but yeah, they're doing other things, and I'm a little nervous about this game. but my team's gonna win. It's the same thing. My team is gonna win. I every single Locked On host opposite Detroit Lions, even during this streak, has picked their team. And they're doing it just like that. Oh, you thought you were gonna win? Oh no. You know what? You guys are playing some really good football. Scare me just a little bit. Hey, man, if Jameson Williams comes alive, it's going to be something else. But I'm taking my team. And to see them trying to hold back the frustration, you could just imagine that they're talking, they talking through their teeth. Michael says Minnesota fan base was talking about the out-of-bounds call, saying it would have changed the game. Nope, Lions dominant. Minnesota Vikings fan, be quiet. Be quiet. If you want to talk about a call, first of all, in some angles it looks like his foot was out of bounds, in some angles it didn't. Okay? All it take is a morsel. Is a mwah, that's it. A hair from your chinny chin chin, and the brother was out. Now, I didn't NBC it. They didn't zoom in on it to see. Referee said he was out. Referee said it was Aaron Rodgers' hands to the face. The referee said Calvin Johnson didn't complete the catch. The referee said the Houston Texans wasn't down. And I could go on and on and on. You don't like it, do you, Minnesota? About leaving it in the ref's hands. Well, maybe if Dalvin Cook gets more, and Dalvin Cook ain't trying to be Beyonce out there. Oh, the single lady. He trying to throw a jump pass. You at the 3, man. What you trying to jump pass it for? Johnny Munt was wide open, but still, you didn't have a chance to, so you fumbled. No points. Right? No points. So today is the last day because it's time to move on. Tomorrow is the official beginning of week 15, and we moving on to the Jets. And I think Lions fans have the right to talk just a wee bit of smack. Okay? Just a wee bit, because all week long, for all the pats on the backs we were getting, we had to listen to you say that we weren't good enough. Nolan says, as a Vikings fan, I say Justin Jackson, TD, wasn't actually a TD. You know what, Nolan? I was sitting there watching that, and I'm trying to put it together too, my friend. Apparently, the pylon is part of the end zone, that white corner at the end, and I watched it a lot of times, and I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. It didn't look like it was to me either, but hey, the ref, they reviewed it, and I'm thinking, they're going to overturn it. We're going to be at the inch line. Jamal going to get number 15. And, they put their hands up. I was like, we'll take it. We'll take it. So I agree with you. Lions Mania, wanted to clear something up from yesterday. What I was saying yesterday is about mean what you say. I wasn't coming at you about bringing that person up. Mean what you say, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was saying. I wasn't trying to, bring direct anything to you. Just, So that brings me to the first segment of the day. The Detroit Lions are on a 2-game winning streak. They have won 5 out of their last 6, and their only loss has come to the Buffalo Bills, who I remember embraced one another because they escaped the Motor City with a win. And it wasn't just any win, guys. It's a tie game. I got to pull a rabbit out the hat. No Jeff Okuda. Things might have been different. Maybe we go to overtime. Maybe we don't. I don't know. They walked away with the win, and that's what counts. They had more points when the scoreboard timer reached 0. But the Lions, man, everybody Everybody is lapping up the Lions. Is it just me or is it weird? From Swaggy to Will Upton to everybody else making Lions videos to people reacting to the Lions to now the Lions are national news. Well. It feels weird, don't it, y'all? The Lions, we are a small fan base, but we are loyal. We are passionate. And we want wins. The response from Vikings fans yesterday was, if we come to U.S. Bank Stadium, we gonna lose. Okay? Are we now? But because of this win and the streak and the 5 of 6 that the Lions are going on, okay, they've done something that I don't think I've seen in a long time, y'all. A long time. The Detroit Lions explode in the power rankings and make the top 10. The top 10. Every Tuesday after Monday Night Football, the NFL, because that's the only one I care about, the NFL comes out with their power rankings. And the Detroit Lions break the top 10. Let me remind you all where we started. Can anybody guess in this chat who is really a cracks researcher? Does anybody know where we started according to the NFL? When the season began, where were we? Does anybody know? I don't remember verbatim exactly, but I'm pretty sure I remember where we were. Mr. Poole says 28. Mr. Poole, I think you and I are on the same page. The Detroit Lions, I want to say the Chicago Bears, we were right around there. We were somewhere. Dustin says 22, 30. Nope, we were not that high. But the Detroit Lions did something I haven't seen in a long time. And that is break the top 10. It's funny seeing these people started to talk good about our team. And I'll probably make a video on Detroit Lions Syndicate about this light news day. I didn't make a video yesterday, but according to Dan Hazes, the Detroit Lions in the NFL power rankings moved from number 17 to number 10. We jumped 7 spots. We are in the top 10. He says the Lions are for real. Dan, oh, really? Because you've been roasting us all year long, but now we for real. That's about a trip. Okay, Dan. Dan Hazes. Dan Campbell's team continued to roll the opposition on Sunday, this time piling up 464 yards on the NFC North leading Vikings in a 34-23 win at a raucous Ford Field. The offense is led by Jared Goff, who is playing quarterback at a very high level right now. The veteran threw for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he has not tossed an interception in 5 weeks. Goff and company will face a stiff test with the Week 15 trip to the Meadowlands to face the Jets. If this offense proves it can travel against a tough defense in the elements, and here, listen, this part is worthy of a pause. Not that kind of pause, not the pause that young people saying today. Y'all need to relax. I'm going to do it again. If the offense proves it can travel against a tough defense in the elements, we'll be talking about a playoff team in Detroit come January. We'll be talking about a playoff team in Detroit come January. So what Dan's trying to say is our stiffest competition is the New York Jets out of our last 4 games. If we beat them, we go into the playoffs. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I heard that if we beat the Jets in the Meadowlands, where we played the Giants just a few weeks ago, we are going to the playoffs. Well, that is something else. So the Detroit Lions, they jump 7 spots and enter the top 10 when it comes to the NFL power rankings, which are the only ones I follow. I don't care about CBS, ESPN, none of them. I go to this one, and I care about this one. Only teams above them. The company that they're keeping right now is fantastic, seeing that just 6 weeks ago, this team was 1-6. Number 9, Los Angeles Chargers. Number 8, the Baltimore Ravens. Number 7, the Minnesota Vikings. I guess we had to beat the Vikings to really get some respect. Number 6, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. 4, Buffalo Bills. 3, the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 2, the Niners. And number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Detroit Lions break the top 10 in the NFL power rankings, and it is a beautiful thing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with Dan? Dan has been roasting us all year long, taking little shots about how the little kiddies are almost here, the grit warriors. He didn't use none of that logic today. And let me remind you that we went from an underdog to a favorite against the Jets. If we beat the Jets, we are going to the playoffs. That's fact. I agree with him 100%. Not because we're overlooking our competition. Because all season long, even with the losses, we have shown that we can hang with anybody. The problem was finishing these games. And during this 5 of 6, we have been doing exactly that. So let me know what you think about the Lions being ranked 10 in the power rankings. Now I saw a Vikings fan come in here. What you say, big dog? Solomon says, is Mike White hurt? He is day to day. He got, I don't know what exactly is wrong, but I know it's his ribs, and he got folded in half. The hit that Milano put on him looked like something from a cartoon. And I saw him stand in that pocket and get folded in half at the rib cage. It was something you would see from Jeepers Creepers. Dawson in the building says, as a Lions fan, I respect the Lions since last year. Well, hey, I appreciate that. Because a lot of y'all fan base was not, Dalton. And a lot of y'all are still robot chicken it. Y'all still still a little bit robot chicken, man. Just a little bit. Shadow Viper, we like a clean chat, my friend. And yes, that counts. All of the teams the Lions played this year in the playoff hunt, Chicago and Green Bay. Well, joining the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans, as of last night, the Denver Bronco Les Rides have been eliminated from playoff contention. And they are currently, I guess, seeded 3rd, which means Seattle will have obviously a top 5 pick. Dude White got spread like it was Edge in the WWE. And not once, not twice, bro, but over and over and over. On the surface is J-Mo, St. Brown, Chark, Sauce Gardner. Oh, it's all good, bro. You didn't know. So, it's all good. Thank you for apologizing, but you didn't know. So I find it funny. I find it funny that the bandwagon, and I'm going to be real with y'all. I have no time. Lions Mania, that is facts. I saw it this morning. Mike White, according to Robert Saleh, is expected to play. I said last night during my stream that we need to lay him out. I was not trying to wish injury upon a football player. I was trying to say if the guy's going to play hurt and we hit him one good time, then we're going to see Joe Flacco. And I think Mike White is their best chance to win. I am not saying intentionally hurt him. If we get to him, he's liable to be hurt. Cracking the top 10 should keep this team motivated for success moving forward. I think you're on to something, and I think it will. I think it will. All right? But I don't know about y'all, but like I said, man, the bandwagon it ain't no room on this train. None. I don't want anybody on this team. Anybody on this bandwagon, get off the bandwagon. Get off the bandwagon. Because we don't got no room for you. If you were a Detroit Rams fan last year, I'm going to need you to leave. Don't you come in here. Don't you come in here. Macho says, Adrian finna tombstone that man. Now, Here's something else that I saw today. And I wanted to know what y'all had to say. Because we still can't get away from it. We still can't get away from it. According to, everybody knows that there are people that all year round, their job is to talk about the NFL draft. As a matter of fact, there's a new show or podcast called With the First Pick, where they're going to talk about the NFL draft all year round. I can't remember what platform it's on. I also find it hilarious that the drafters, okay, the people talking about the NFL draft on a consistent basis, not a draft here, a draft comment there, but every day making videos about the NFL draft. But this guy right here, Todd McShay, has an opinion, like he always does. Who is Todd McShay anyway? With the 4th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State. C.J. Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State. I want to know how y'all feel about that. How do y'all feel about that? Everything fell perfectly for the Lions here, allowing them to draft their signal caller of the future without moving up, McShay writes. Stroud has thrown for 37 touchdown passes this season and still has many as 2 games left. And still has as many as 2 games left, and is 3rd in the nation in QBR, 87.7. Jared Goff has played well under center of late, but he's not the long-term answer. Well, Stroud, who makes good decisions with the football, displays great touch and has a big arm, could learn behind Jared Goff for a season before Detroit moves on and builds a team around a talented passer of a rookie on a rookie deal. Wow. We keep having this conversation. And listen, Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, the team, they've been saying it all year long, but we didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. You didn't want to hear it. When they was 1-6 and they said we're right there, we're like, man, whatever. You can't win with these guys. I wasn't thinking they're right there. I'm going to be honest. I wasn't. But we just went over yesterday, literally from Sunday, there was an article by Ian Rappaport that Jared Goff is not a bridge QB. Which a lot of y'all don't seem to believe that. If the Detroit Lions have the 4th overall pick, which it looks like they will via the LA Rams, and they take a quarterback, I'm going to feel some type of way. Especially if Carter or Anderson's still on the board, which they probably won't be, but stranger things happen. Who had Trayvon Walker going first 7 days out? He came up late as ever. But C.J. Stroud coming to the Detroit Lions doesn't work for me. Not at the 4th overall pick. Not when this team over the last 6 weeks has shown, well, you know what? You might be right. Everybody been saying if you give Jared Goff time to pass, he will kill you. And we have seen that. Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnow, Jonah Jackson. Those guys kept Jared Goff off his back last week, and he diced him up. No interceptions, no fumbles, no sacks. We got to Kirk Cousins a ton of times, 4 times. Defense has stepped up. Give me a defender all day. At this point, I'm willing to take D-line and a secondary player. Even if it's a cornerback, y'all, I'm not going to trip. 2nd round, maybe grab a linebacker. I think we got 2 second-round picks, right? Maybe grab a wide receiver somewhere. I don't know. I don't think Quintez Cephas will be a Lion next year. I think DJ Chark is playing insane right now, and that he right now has earned a way. If he can stay healthy, absolutely. Bring the man back. We paying him anyway. CJ Stroud with the 4th overall pick in an offense that is ranked number 1 in the red zone. We have a top 10 offense in the league. Listen, do I want a quarterback behind Jared Goff? Absolutely. Somebody who can win some games if he goes down? Absolutely. Do I want to spend the fourth overall draft pick, which we may never see again, having 2 first-round picks in a long time on a quarterback when our offense is top 10 and we have the top red zone offense in the league? Yesterday, the Patriots have the, if I saw the graphic right, they have the worst red zone offense. And the Lions have the best. Can I remind y'all of something? Can I do something real quick? Can I do something real quick? No. I told you not to do that. Let me say something real quick. The Lions are 6-7. How many teams in the league right now are 6-7? Well, I'll tell you. I will tell you. Nobody thought at 1-6 that we was going to be 6-7. Do you realize that if we beat the Jets, we are even? It becomes a literal 3-game season. If we beat the New York Jets from 1-6 to 7-7, 500, it literally becomes a 3-game season. How many teams are 6-7? In the entire NFL, just 2. Us and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There are about 7 or 8 teams that are 7 wins. Tennessee, Seattle, New York. Listen, 7-6, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Jets, the Seahawks, the Tennessee Titans. If the Detroit Lions beat the New York Jets, the Jets and Lions will be 7-7. If the Seattle Seahawks lose this coming weekend, they'll be 7-7. If the Chargers and Patriots lose this coming weekend, 7-7. And Todd McShay wants us to take a quarterback with the 4th pick in the draft. Nick says the Lions are the hottest team in the NFL. That ain't no lie. They're past 5 of 6, even with that loss to Buffalo. And I'm going to have to disagree with Todd. I don't want a quarterback. I don't want a quarterback. And here's what I don't want, Lions fans. Don't do this. Please don't do this. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be that fan, right? Jared Goff, the first 4 weeks of the season and the last 6, has shown you what kind of quarterback he is. That's 10 games, right? Out of the 13 that we've played. Pick 6 in the Seattle game, if I remember correctly. Pick 6 in the Eagles game. And you could say that those were the differences in those games. Right? But why would we draft a quarterback in the first round, 4th overall, when we need defense and our offense is clicking with the quarterback we have? There is no reason to do that. So I'm going to have to disagree with Todd McShay. I think this is ridiculous. I just think people don't want to believe in Jared Goff, and they just find anything they want to. Lions Mania says, Grid, I'm afraid that we'll lose Ben Johnson. Johnson is in the offseason, or in the offseason. I believe several teams will look into him and want him as their head coach. Okay, so I have a theory about that. I have a theory about Ben Johnson coaching, okay? And this is what it is. if the Detroit Lions, here's how I think this is going to go. The Lions make the playoffs, Dan Campbell win Coach of the Year. Even if they lose in the first round. Aiden Hutchinson needs, in my opinion, 1 to 2 sacks to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. There'll come a time where you can't ignore his sacks. If he has more sacks than Chase Young or equal or greater than Nick Bosa, I don't care what Sauce is doing. He's going to win. Aiden Hutchinson wins Rookie of the Year, period. Sometimes, at some point, the numbers are going to have to, if Aiden Hutchinson, who has 1 fumble recovery, 2 INTs, 7 sacks, right? He's at 7. If he gets more than Chase Young, who had 7.5, 4 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, he has to win Rookie of the Year. Absolutely. And while you playing locked James Houston, don't let James get like 3 or 4. That'd be insane. I still think it'd go to Hutch. Even though James, man, is a steady runner-up. Right? But I think when it comes to Ben Johnson, if the Lions win a playoff game, he could be gone. If they win a playoff game, he could be gone. I think that is the difference. Because remember, Aaron Glenn was up to be interviewed as well when the Lions were 3-13-1. If Ben Johnson can get us to the playoffs, if this offense can get us to the playoffs, okay, let me remind you, shout out to Patty Grimes. The first, only one team in the last 52 years. Somebody fact check this for me, please. Not that I don't believe you, Patty, but I want to just have it triple and double checked. If the Lions make the playoffs, they will be the second team since 1970 to make the playoffs. And guess what? Guess what, y'all? If the Lions, the past 4 years in the NFL, at least one 6-7 team has made the playoffs. Now, I saw today okay, that it's coming out that the Lions can clinch a playoff spot with these things happening. The Lions have to win 3 of the last 4, and the Giants and Washington has to lose 2 of their last 4. That's what I heard, or something like that. Okay. So Katie says that the 1970 Bengals. So Patty was correct. I knew he was. The 1970 Bengals were the first team to start 1-6 and make the playoffs. They got all these different stats. If you're 0 this, 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4. I think the Chargers, the 1992 Chargers, are the only team that were 0-4 to make the playoffs. I think so. I think that's what the stat is. They wind up, is it 12-4 they finished as? If this team, can y'all understand? And I think that would get Ben Johnson snatched away from us. The thing is, would he want to go? Or would he want to be part of what we're building? Because don't forget now, could you imagine, just hear me out. Could you imagine if that does happen, if Ben Johnson becomes the quarterback of, I don't know, let's say the Denver Broncos. Let's just pick them. Denver Broncos, he becomes the head coach. He looks like a head coach. Like, he looks like he could do it, right? He looks like he would fit, got the hat on, whatever. He doesn't work out. He gets fired, and he comes back to Dan. Like, if Dan winds up being that type of coach, where people from his coaching tree start getting jobs, I would want them to succeed, of course. But what if that happens? Okay, Nick says Seahawks, Giants, and Commanders lose 3 of the 4, and the Lions win 3 of the 4. Well, that is possible, for sure. 100%. Don't forget, later today at 5 p.m., Touchdown Detroit Lions will be on. It happens every Tuesday, hosted by my man, Nick Hartson. He will be on. He was very excited after last week's show. Couldn't wait for today to get this thing on, and I am excited. right now. I'm excited because the Lions are what anybody wants to talk about right now. No, Campbell, we're not done yet, bro. We still got 20 minutes. We got to do our segment as well about Kyler Murray, but we're not going yet. So the Detroit Lions have a legit chance to make the playoffs, and this week, we're just going to say this early. Now, tomorrow, I got to get my car fixed. I have to get my car fixed tomorrow. So this show probably is going to replace tomorrow's. We need the 49ers to win on Thursday. David, I think they do. I think they destroy. I think they are going to annihilate the Seattle Seahawks. Then Seattle Seahawks will drop to 7-7. Okay? Now, from the math that I've done, and you guys watch the video, the Lions, with a win over the Jets and a win over the Carolina Panthers, who are surging, by the way. So we were worried about the Jets. The Panthers are the team we need to worry about. Not to say we shouldn't worry about any, we should overlook anything. We need to worry about everything. But what I'm saying is they are in this thing for the South. Don't sleep on them. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm texting David. Right. Okay, so the Lions, we kind of know what we have to do now. We know what we have to do. Okay, says he needs to interact more with the chat. Who is he? Okay, Gaddy, what's up, big dog? Says Seahawks, Commanders, and Giants have a much tougher Final Four than us, so it looks really good. It does, bro. 100%. The toughest out of that bunch is the Giants, I think. Like, real talk, they might not win more than one game. I said the Giants. Remember what I said? I called it a long time ago. I think the Seahawks and Lions take the 6 and 7. They're 4 teams. But let's not sleep on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. We need the Packers to stay at bay. We need them to lose. Does Goff keep this level of play with Ben Johnson gone? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes because Goff is always, will it look the same? It might not, but if the O-line holds up, St. Brown ain't going nowhere. Jamison Williams ain't going nowhere. Josh Reynolds, he going to be here. So the concern really is DJ Chark, and we'll probably draft a rookie wide receiver. I think Quintez Cephas is gone. And I don't think Ben Johnson goes because I think they're going to want some more. He going to have to do a little bit more. Look what happened. Everybody was ready to hire Aaron Glenn. And first of the season, first half, it was like, ooh, I'm sure teams like, I'm glad we didn't. Now they looking like, oh, maybe we should, right? So is David joining the team? If he signs the contract, he is. He wants to. If the contract is to his liking, then he will join the team. We've already discussed the show a day and a time, and he just needs a name and to decide if he wants to, if the contract suits him. And if it does, then he's part of the team. Okay. All right. Sorry, y'all. Okay, now, this is what we need. Coming up in week 15. Obviously, goes without saying, the Lions have to win. At this point, Minnesota and the Jets were the 2 games we were worried about. And we need to be worried about, our team needs to be focused on what's ahead of them. What's up, the great one? Says if Ben Johnson is offered a head coaching job, I hope he declines. I think the only way that Ben Johnson could get hired this year is if the Lions win a playoff game. That's it. We're going to talk about that too as this because, you know what, let's do this. There's a lot of talk of the Detroit Lions in playoffs, and y'all didn't want to believe me. Y'all didn't want to believe me. Y'all were laughing in my face. Y'all were laughing in my face.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
And we have. We've won 5 of the last 6, you could say. We were a field goal away from beating the Buffalo Bills, right? But we lost, and it is what it is. We moved on. We won 2 straight. This coming week in Week 15, we need a Seahawks loss to the 49ers. I'm not going to lie. I would love to see the Colts upset the Minnesota Vikings just because their fan base is probably the second worst this year, second to the Chicago Bears. We also need the Falcons Saints. That's going to be a weird one. We need a Saints win, okay, to keep the Falcons at bay because these teams aren't done. Falcons need to stay at bay. Think about the Lions. How one win, we went from 5-8 potentially to 6-7. Look at how big that is. We need, obviously, the Bears have been eliminated, so it doesn't matter. They affect us, but they'll get stomped by the Eagles. We need to win our game, of course. And the Bengals play the Buccaneers. But the 2 games that we are keeping an eye on, I also missed one. I missed one. The Packers, I skipped over them because they are back this week. All right. Now, this is when Detroit Lions fans, y'all going to have to make up y'all mind. I saw this on Twitter today, and I thought it was disgusting. Not as disgusting as what I saw from that channel that talks Detroit, but almost. The biggest 3 games of the week for the Detroit Lions outside of our own when we're talking about playoffs is, well, it's another one. It's low key. All right, we need the Steelers to beat the Panthers. The Panthers are they streaking right now, 3 in a row, and they are very much alive in the NFC South. Everybody's alive in the NFC South. We need a Steelers win. We need the Falcons win. Or a Saints win, to keep the Falcons at bay. Obviously, we need to take care of our business. Would be nice to see the Colts upset the Vikings. But the teams that's ahead of us, we need a 49ers win. They got Brock Purdy. They're on the road. So we need a 49ers to keep doing what they're doing, win that game. All right? We also need the biggest one of the week is the Washington Commanders, New York Giants. Remember, both of those teams tied 2 weeks ago when they played. The Commanders were off week 14. The Giants lost to the Philadelphia Eagles in mollywop fashion. That game literally could go either way. It could go either way. Now, here's the question that I have for you. Monday Night Football, Rams at Packers. Baker Mayfield has been confirmed to be the starter for the rest of the season. Okay? We need the Rams to win that game, but here's the question I have for you. What are you rooting for? You're rooting for draft position or playoffs. Rams win that game, it keeps the Packers at bay. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to see Aaron Rodgers with a chance. We need to snuff them out. They need to be snuffed out. That's going to be a tall task for the Rams. No Matthew Stafford. They cut one of their running backs. Aaron Donald, I'm not sure. Jalen Ramsey is pretty much all they have. The Green Bay Packers are 5-8. We don't want to see Aaron Rodgers at 6-8. We do not. That's something we don't want to see. 6-8. We win and go to 7-7. It is a game and a half back. We don't. The Green Bay Packers do not need a chance. They need to be snuffed out. Because let's not forget, the Lions have to travel to Lambeau the last game of the season. And I think that the NFL, if the Lions keep winning, the NFL is going to flex the Lions-Packers as the last game of the season. I'm telling you right now, if these teams are 8-8, and they're going, if the Lions and Packers are 8-8 going into week 18, this will be the last game of the season because the winner goes to the playoffs. Now, me, you know what I want. I don't have to say it. But the Washington Giants, that game right there literally could go either way. if the one thing we cannot have happen is them tie again. And if they tie again, then the NFL need to do some investigation. Because no matter how many times you tie, if another team has less wins than you go. So we don't need a tie. They're playing in Landover. So I think one of these teams is going to come out on top. Now, the question is, which team do you think or do we need really? All right. Here's the Washington Commanders' remaining schedule. They play is this the Washington? This is, Washington. So the Washington Commanders are 7-5-1. That is 13 games. And their schedule is as follows. The last remaining games. And you guys tell me which team do you think should win, that we need to win. All right. The New York Giants, after their bye week, which is this week, that game has been flexed to Sunday Night Football. All right. This is the Washington Commanders. Washington plays the New York Giants at home. They play the San Francisco 49ers on the road. They play the Cleveland Browns at home, and they play the Dallas Cowboys at home. How many games do you think they win? I think they go 2-2, 1-3, or if the Giants win this coming Sunday, the Washington Commanders could not win another game. That'll put the Washington Commanders at 7-9-1. Now, that is the Washington Commanders. They play the Giants, the Niners, the Browns, and Dallas. And 3 of those games are at home. The only one that is not is the game against San Francisco. The Seattle Seahawks, they got the easiest schedule of the bunch. And they're the team that I think is going to have the 6th seed. But if they're not careful, a second team from the South will get in. Now, the New York Giants, their remaining schedule is as follows. Of course, Washington this Sunday at 8 o'clock. The Minnesota Vikings on the road, the Indianapolis Colts at home, and the Philadelphia Eagles on the road. That is going to be a mollywop. If the Eagles don't lock up the 1 seed. Now, Nick says 2 ties equals a loss. Does it? Because a tie is a half win. See, y'all got to remember that. A tie is a half win. If they tilt a tie toward the win, then a loss. If the Lions, so let me ask you a question. What do you think happens? If the Lions end up 9-8, but the Giants are 9-6-2, who do you think goes to the playoffs? Okay, so if 2 ties equals a loss, who goes to the playoffs between the 9-8 Detroit Lions and the, okay. So who goes to the playoffs between the 9-8 Detroit Lions and the 9-6-2 New York Giants? Dustin says Giants. John says Woolworth Sports was talking about 2 ties equal loss. Okay, John, did you research that? Or did you just take their word? Just like what I'm asking you now. As we wrap up the segment, and I want you guys to answer this, watching this on playback. If the New York Giants in 9-6-2, but the Detroit Lions are 9-8, who makes the playoffs? Let me know. Because the way I understand it, A tie is a half win. So if two ties equal, how can two ties equal a loss when two ties is a half win? Camping says the Giants. Dustin says Giants. The answer is the New York Giants. That's why people want to undo the tie. People want to undo the tie. Locke says Giants based off percentage. Nope. The Giants, listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, a tie is literally stupid. It does not count. It goes toward a win, right? If the Giants wind up 9-7-1 and the Lions are 9-8, the Giants go to the playoffs. If the Giants would have lost to the Washington Commanders or vice versa, and the Lions, Giants, and Washington are 9-8, who goes to the playoffs? Who goes to the playoffs in that scenario? I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. A 9-6 and what I believe, based off the NFL and a tie, is a 9-6-2 is better than a 9-8 record. Because even if we take y'all philosophy of it equals a loss, that still puts the team at 9. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? That two ties equal a loss when the tie is the dumbest thing the National Football League has. It's the dumbest thing. I'm going to tell you why you will never see the college scores. Because the NFL, these money lines, you know what the scores would be if they did what they did in college? If they did what the NFL ain't going for 70-something to 60. That will never happen. Never happen. Now, what you might see is increasingly longer field goals. That might be at the end of OT, they start with an extra point and they move the kicker back 5 yards each time. Because that means it'll be a 3-point difference. That's the only thing that I could ever see the NFL doing. So based on the way that I understand the tie, if the worst thing that these two teams could do is tie. Gaddy says, I do not see anything about two ties equaling one loss. It counts as a win. 2 is what it looks like. Thank you, Gaddy. And I'm not trying to come at you, Nick. A tie counts as a half win and a half loss. No, it does not, Nick. A tie is a half win, period. It's not, the NFL picked a side. The tie, I learned this a couple years ago. The tie is a half win. It goes as a half win for both teams. It literally can't be both. Now, here's the question. If let's say the Lions and Seahawks were done, and if the Giants and Commanders are fighting for that last spot, but they're both 9-7-1, then it gets sticky. Jacob says, if the increased points to field goal happened, Tucker would be MVP. Now, what I'm thinking, no, two ties is not a win. A tie is more of a win than a loss. But it's neither, if that makes sense. If a team has more losses, let's say a team, because this is what I understand. Now hear me out. This is what I understand. From the way I understand the way the tie works in the NFL. If a team was 8-6, what is that? 14 games. 8-6-3, but a team was 8. Well, that would be tough because then you have 16 games. Okay, here we go. If a team was 8-6-3, right? That's 17 games. But then the other team was 8-9, the 8-6-3 team would go. The 8-6-3 team would go over the 8-9 team. But if a team was 9-8 and the other team, even if the other team was 9, we already did this, 9-6-2. The 9-6-2 because they have less losses. That is why the tie is dumb. A tie is a less loss, but not. It's dumb. It really is dumb. Why do you think I was freaking out? Okay, let me see. Why do you think I was freaking out when they tied? Dang, that 20 minutes went super quick. All right, so shout out to KD3. KD3 did a simulation using the ESPN playoff machine, and he went and he, wow. Okay. All right, let me do this. Let me pull up Twitter real quick. Now, as LeVar Burton would say in Reading Rainbow, but you don't have to take my word for it. Roderick, what's up, says it's a half win and half loss. Just like if the Lions are 10-7, the Giants would be and if the Giants were 9-2, the Lions would go to the playoffs. Yes. The Lions would, but here's the thing, Roderick. The Lions, why do the Lions go to the playoffs? Can anybody tell me why do the Lions go to the playoff if you look at Roderick's scenario? Why do they go? Y'all think about that and tell me. Man, that 20 minutes went fast, bro. I got to get off because I got to make my video. In the Zone says 10 wins. You get the air horn. Okay, here's the way to do it. Ties are greater than losses. Okay? That's the only way you look at this. A tie is greater than a loss. That's why I'm trying to tell you it don't equal losses. A tie will always be greater than a loss. But if a team has more wins, the team with more wins goes. Just look at it like this. A tie is greater than a loss. Nick says, I got a solution, play until there's a winner. They're not going to do that, bro. Because the reason they shortened the overtime was because of the, what it was putting on the players, the stress it was putting on the players. Oh, KD, I can't blow this up, bro. I can't blow it up on Twitter. But KD did a scenario where the Giants had 2 ties and the Giants go over us. And the Lions have a record of 8-9, but the Giants have a record at 9-6-2, and they go. I'm sorry, 9-8. 9-8. I'm sorry. The Lions have a record of 9-8. The Giants have a record of 9-6-2, and they go. I told you, bro. All you have to do is just remember a tie is greater than a loss. That's it. But not as much as a win. Does it? Oh my God. It's considered a half loss also. I'm trying to tell y'all, bro. Okay. All right. Okay. We going around in circles. All you got to do is just remember a tie is greater than a loss, but it's not as great as a win. It's literally a tie. That's why everybody is ready for this to be over. They want to get rid of the tie because of what it means. The tie is it's almost like this, y'all. Y'all ready? Both teams won, if that makes sense. Right? No, Nick, we good, bro. Both teams won. You know how, okay, let's do this. Let's put it into this right now. If the Lions, who beat the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants, if the Lions are 9-8, the Giants are 9-7-1. The Commanders are 9-7-1. Both of those teams have a tiebreaker. They own a better record than the team that beats them. Do y'all follow what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to tell y'all it's not a half win. A half loss. It's not a half loss. It goes more. You can look at it like that if you want to, but it goes more in the win column. It's almost like both teams won because now what they did is they voided the fact that the Lions beat both of them. The Lions beat the Giants and the Commanders, but they tied with each other. So they would get in before the team that beats them, which is not fair at all. They need to undo overtime. Play 10. Listen, redo it. Undo the ties. Do this. 10-minute OT. Same rules. If nobody scores, you start kicking field goals. From the extra point line, every missed field goal, All right. Listen, if the team that wins the coin toss, all right, they kick first. Boom, they got it. If it's blocked and the other team kicks, good. If you keep going until you get to Justin Tucker range, somebody gonna miss somewhere, and that's how it ends. That's how it ends. But listen, we got one more segment that I want to do, and we'll wrap this thing up. I'm not saying that y'all are wrong. What I'm saying is the way that I understand is that it's a half. It's greater than a loss. No matter how many ties you have, the ties are greater than a loss. But eventually you got to count wins in there as well. So, something really tragic happened yesterday that it was tough to see, but we not there yet. I got to find this article. But don't forget, I got to get off so that Nick can get on. Nick going to be like, hey, man, this is my time, brother. This is my time. So there's been a dispute, and a lot of players, the NFL Player Association, a lot of people have been calling for the NFL and stadiums to have real grass to play on. And I didn't do this research, so I'm going to go by what somebody else said. All right? And I'm laughing at your comment, see? So I didn't fact check this, but I'm just going to use it for the sake of this argument. It's been a big deal as to players advocating for grass. And I think grass is going to be tough. Now, these are billion-dollar organizations. If anybody can grow grass indoors, it's going to be these guys. We know you can do it, right, because there's other people that do it. But it's going to be tough. You're going to have to bring in lighting and all that stuff, and have to probably – the field is going to be surrounded by, light, because the Lions play in a dome. I think the Cardinals, Allegiant Stadium, their turf rolls out. The Dallas Cowboys can open up the dome, but then you got the way the sun shifts, but still sunlight will hit it. So a lot of players have been advocating for grass, and Kyler Murray does indeed have a torn ACL. Whenever you see a non-contact injury, it's usually an ACL. And you Achilles, ACL, you're done. You are done. It's almost better to be contacted. Now, I've seen some articles and some opinions that it's exercises that these players can do that'll strengthen their Achilles and their, MCL, ACL, all that stuff. But the NFL Players Association, they want people, and the players themselves, they want to play on grass. Mr. Poole says Colts Stadium has a retractable roof too. I think that would be the way to go. But then you got Ford Field. You have other older stadiums and not so tech savvy. I mean, even SoFi. SoFi, as beautiful as it is, it doesn't open. They got LED screens on the other side of the roof that you can see from the plane, from the sky. So that would be another situation. They don't play on grass, but it's possible. People grow grass indoors all the time. Hold on, let me cue this up. I should have had it queued up before that. Now, Kyler Murray suffered a non-contact injury, scrambling. Third play of the game. It is indeed torn ACL. Now, I saw there's a doctor. I think his name is Brian Shutter, something like that. He's a sports doctor, and I've never watched an ACL tear. I'm like, man, how do they know that it's an ACL tear? They just, boom, they know right away. They take him to the locker room, and they know. And he broke it down as to how you know. And he showed Jameson Williams. He showed Von Miller. He showed Kyler Murray. He showed what happens when and how they know so fast it's an ACL. He basically said if the fibia and tibia, if it moves around, then it's ruptured. It's torn, completely severed. It is a nasty sight to see. It really is. It happened with Kyler Murray last night. I'm telling you, if you go look at the Jameson Williams one, because Jameson is skin and bones, and you can see it detach. I didn't know that at all. I'm like, how do they know? But Kyler Murray's done. He's done for the year. That means that Kyler Murray starting the NFL season of 2023 is probably not going to be seen. He's not going to be seen. Just signed a contract, him and Cliff Kingsbury. Both of them are signed for years to come. But he's done. And the NFL Players Association, they want grass. And from what I read last night, a friend put this in the chat. And like I said, I didn't research this to double check it. But according to what I was told, he said there were 16 injuries like this on turf and 16 injuries like this on grass. And if that's the case, what's the difference? What's the difference? I felt so bad for Kyler. Whenever you see the tears and the towel, you know that they know that it is going to be a long road ahead. Kyler Murray is in year 19, 20, 21, 4. Got a 5-year extension for $230 million. It's been the talk of a lot of town around Arizona and beyond. I think he's up there with Lamar when you talk about quarterbacks you would like to see on other teams or that you see fan bases wanting all the time. So let me know your thoughts. If you've played sports or whatever, do you think that a grass field will cut down on some of these injuries? Because we have seen more Achilles tears and MCL, ACL tears than I think I've ever seen. And it's weird because when we used to watch the Lions and stuff play on AstroTurf, which that stuff was terrible. Like literally underneath it was concrete. It seems like their legs and stuff were fine, but it was their, landing on the hard concrete that did them in. So let me know your thoughts, man. But Kyler Murray is in for a long recovery. If you look at 10 or 11 months, you're talking about October. Kyler Murray will most likely not start the NFL season. He might not start till halfway through. And that sucks for not only him, but Arizona Cardinals fans as well. But yeah, y'all, listen. As far as the ties and stuff, all I know is we got to win. And we got to keep. If the Lions lose another game, the Giants. Okay, if the Lions lose another game and have 8 losses, that means the Giants cannot win 9. If the Lions lose one more game, okay, that means that the Lions cannot lose. They can't. Giants win one more game. The Lions can miss out at 9-8. Shadow says, no, it's just how fast these guys are running and strain on their joints and muscles. Well, listen, I'm not like I said, I hear people saying that there are different, I think, is it Saquon that does these exercises? But I know he tore his MCL, right? But I think he might have been getting tackled. It's different when you're getting tackled. But the non-contact stuff is something else. But I heard that there are different exercises that you can do that might help strengthen those tendons and stuff like that. Origin says, I played left tackle in college and we have natural grass. Only time injuries happen was on poor managed grass. Really? Lions can afford one loss, but that comes with a risk. Absolutely. Winning out would be fantastic. We had a 96% chance to get there. So, I'm not going to say I'm not going to be on tomorrow because every time I do, I wind up popping my head up. Oh, I didn't switch the scenes. So, I don't know if I'm going to be on. I'm just going to leave it at that. But you will for sure see me Thursday. Don't forget the Touchdown Detroit Lions is going on in about an hour and a half. At least I believe it is. And you guys can meet Nick. He had a phenomenal show. His first show got over 600 views, and it was outstanding. So show some support. And I hope to have word the next time I'm on that Detroit Lions Forum, David Pike, will be joining the team, hosting his own show as well. You guys have a great day. And just remember, a tie is greater than a loss. I will holler. And listen, do your own research, right? If I said the earth was small or round or flat, whatever, research it yourself, man. Don't just take everything these guys say, me included, without doing your own research.